Hello, my name is Eduardo, and well, I just finished to record this tutorial, and I just want to show you the final result of the tutorial number 2. Okay, so for this Mario app, I added two scores, the last score and the high score. That is one that it's saved here in a tinyDB component. Then, if you press the start, we have here in the canvas draw the text that it's keeping track of your score and also for your lives. Okay, so every time we have these things and we have it, and then we have the game over procedure and we start in here. So stay with this tutorial, okay, and don't forget to like this video. My name is Eduardo and I will see you in the tutorial. Hello, my name is Eduardo, and today we are going to continue with the Mario Coins app, okay? Well, this is just a remake, okay, from a tutorial that I did some time ago, okay? And this is the part number 2, so let's start. Well, in the previous tutorial, we just got this thing. So we have the app, we have the start, we have the buttons, okay? So we were using a horizontal arrangement instead of screens, okay? When we press start, we show this layout containing the game. And we move this. Obviously, we don't have Mario yet, okay? But we move this thing and this thing looks like a game, okay? Well, today we're going to add more things, okay? I am planning to add for Mario sprites and these things for the last episode. For this episode, we are going to add the lives, okay, and the score. So we are going to work with some tinyDB, okay, or a database. So let's start with that thing. Okay, well, the first thing that we're going to make, okay, if you check, I just already did it. It is to add a tinyDB component first, okay? You go to storage and you drag tinyDB, okay? Well, then you go to the blocks and we're going to create two procedures. The first thing that we need is to create a procedure to resize the font. We're going to use, we're going to draw the text, okay, inside the canvas, okay? So we want to resize the font according to the device. For this, we are going to use just a little procedure, okay, that it's going to scale the text based on the width of the canvas. So let's go to the blocks and you have to create this. I call it font responsive. We create a variable using this. You drag it and you call it font size aspect. Then, this is very important. You're going to make this, okay, so you're going to multiply the font size aspect times the canvas width, and you're going to divide this by the width of your device, okay? So now, how do you know that value? Well, you go here while you are connected to Companion, you select canvas width, and you just select do it to see the value. You see I have 358. If you have a different value, copy this value inside this slot. Okay? Now, then we create a procedure to add the score to the canvas or to draw. So you call it score procedure. First, I added a clear canvas, okay, just to refresh the canvas and delete another previous score. Then I add the canvas font size that is in here, canvas font size. And I just use this procedure that we just created, and I just set it to the 25%. Okay, using the 25% of the width of the canvas. Then I just call the draw text, and then I use join for the text. The score, okay, that it's just a title, and then I'm going to connect it with a new variable. You have to create a new variable, well, actually two variables, my score and my lives, okay? So, and you set them to 0. So in this case, I'm going to put it in here, global my score, space, check, I added a space, and then the score, another space in here where you have points, and you have 0 points. Then I just place them using the percentage thing that we just created. So it is in the 50% of the width, and it is based on the height of the canvas, it is of the screen, I mean, it is the 20%. That's why it's in here. If you wanted to move it a little bit upwards, you just set it to 10% or 15%, for example, and then you just run the procedure again. Okay, this procedure, it is inserted here in the settings clock. Remember in the previous tutorial, okay? If you haven't seen this tutorial, please check it. It's very important, okay? So that's the idea and how to add the score. Now, the score, it will increase every time Mario touches the coin. So, and we are going to look for that. We go for coin, sprite, edge reach, no. Coin, sprite, collide with. So, we're going to add it in here. So, we're going to update the variable. So, every time before we reset the coin, we're going to say my score plus. Okay, and we're going to say plus the current value of the score. So that means, for example, in this case, it's 0 at the beginning, plus 1. Every time we're going to get 1 point. That's it. And then we're going to update the text. And to update the text, we're going to call the score procedure. And then we're going to see if we touch this thing. 3 points, 4 points, and let's see what happens when we just the coin gets to the bottom. Nothing. If we touch it, 5. Now if you see, we need now the lives. Okay, so for the lives it's quite the same, okay, but in this case we're going to subtract, okay, lives. So let's do it. Okay, well, what we're going to make again, now we're going to, well, as I told you, we have added the variable my lives. We're going to set this value to 4. At the beginning it was 0, but you have to set it to 4 or 3 or 2. The lives that you want to have for your game. I set it to 4. Then, and in the score procedure, okay, I added the lives as second text. I just duplicate this one, the draw text, and I just change this join lives. Just pay attention to this, sorry. Lives space, and then the variable global my life. We join this thing, and then I just place it, okay, here at the 20%. This was at the 15%, and this is at the 20%. So now if we see this, well, and after that, what is going to happen every time we touch, or the coin touches the edge or any of the edges, in this case the bottom edge, it will subtract 1 from the total lives. Okay, so now for example in here I inserted the second condition. If the lives it's more than 0, so we're going to set the lives minus 1. Okay, and we're going to call the reset. What happens if we have now equals to 0? Well, else, we're going to set it to else, and we're going to create a procedure that it will be game over. So we need to think about the game over procedure. Okay, but in this case I just created, and we're going to run game over. We're going to create game over. Okay, so but let's see what we have so far. We press start, we have 4 lives, points. Okay, let's wait for this thing to touch. 2, 1. Now what is happening in here? it has to reset. Now it is this thing. So let's refresh again and let's see if this is working correctly or I did a mistake. So we have reset coin. That's it. We start. We move this friend. 2 lives. And then we have 1 life. Yes, it's doing this, but it's not refreshing the screen. And it's running to 0. Okay, so it's trying to run the game over. So let's work with that. Well, to update the text in here for the lives, we have to insert the procedure. Okay, which procedure? The score procedure. That is the one that is holding this thing. Okay, so you can just select it. So you have this, it's okay. So after you subtract, you refresh the procedure. Okay, so now let's see if this is okay right now. Let's refresh the screen. 27. Let me check if we are connected to companion or not. No, I guess we're not connected to companion again. So we need to refresh this, but I guess it's okay. Just let me refresh companion. So now, what is the next thing that we have to do? Well, we need to check that this is working. So just give me a second. Sorry for this. Sometimes companion gets a little bit crazy. Network, communicator, try, connect, companion. Yes, thanks. I will. So let's see if this is working right now. If not, we're going to continue with the game over. So we have start, we have the lives, 1 point, then we wait for this. It's updating the text 3, 2, and then when it will get to 0, it will run the procedure. This one, let's move just this guy here. So, and then we have, boom. So now it stops there because we have the game over, but game over is nothing, okay? It has nothing. So what do we want for the game over? Well, let's think about this. We want to stop the animation of the coin. We want to reset the position of the coin. We want just to have here the final score. And what else? Probably, we want to restart the game, or we want to close this screen. Okay, so we want to pass the value of the points to the screen, not the screen, to the horizontal layout where is the start button. So here, here, if you refresh this, probably we want to pass this value in here. Okay, so your last score was this, and then you have again the button to start everything. Okay, so what do you think? So we can do it like that. And also we want to reset the variables. We want to reset the variables and we want to stop the clocks. Okay, so that's the idea. So let me do it. So basically what I have now, it is this thing. So I have my game over procedure. So I disable the clocks. The coin clock, disable. The Mario clock, disable. The horizontal arrangement of the game, okay, this canvas, where is the canvas? Okay, I set it to false, and then the horizontal arrangement, where is the start button, I set it to true. Okay, so that was the only modification. So, and then I added 2 labels. One label that it's called high score, and we're going to rename it to high score label. High score label. And the second one, it's the last score, okay? Last score label. I don't know why I just write it like that, but well, last and high score. Okay, so we have these two variables. This one, the high score, it's one that it will work with the tinyDB, and this one is from the previous score. Okay, so how to do that? Well, I set also my variables to reset. Okay, I set my lives now again to 4, and my score to 0. Okay, but before reset the variables, I want to pass the value to this label score. Okay, so I want to use, in this case, it is not necessary to use tinyDB, okay, because it's the previous score. So, but we can use this thing. We are going to set, okay, this text of this label. Let's look for text, and we're going to set it to the score. Before we reset the score, we are going to pass this value to this label, okay? Not to the high score, I'm sorry, to the last score. So basically, if we check in here, we have it. Let me just make some points, and then I just will die. So basically, that is what I want. Before I reset, oh, I am very good. So I am passing the value from the score, and then I'm going to reset the score to 0. So, and then you have just your score, but it's just an ugly file. So we're going to use join, and with join, we're going to go for text, and we're going to add your let's just call it last score space, and then you can add something else for points, and just duplicate this thing, and we just add points, space, points, okay, and that it will add this to this instead of the number 5. Now for the high score, we're going to do something different. We're going to use tinyDB. So this is what I did. I'm not sure if this is gonna work because I haven't tested, but well. So I created a new procedure that is the high score database, okay, or DB. So first I need to check if the database, okay, it is empty or not. So how to do that? Well, I'm going to check if the value, okay, in the tag, I created a tag for the high score, tag high score. It's different from 0, okay, that it has a value from a previous gameplay. So then I will check again. So if the global score or the current score from my last game, it is bigger than the value that is stored, because remember that it's different from 0. So I'm going to update the value in the high score tag with this bigger value, okay, and then I'm going to refresh the label in high score using this value that I just saved. Else, that means that if this value is not bigger, okay, the current score, well, I'm going to just use the previous value in the tinyDB. Then else, the second else is from here. If this tag, it is not like different from 0, is equals to 0, well, I'm just going to use call high score and set it to this value. Okay, so if we have 0 in the previous, okay, is for example when we start the game for the first time, we're going to save the first as a high score. So let's try it. For example, I have here, I have 1 point, 2 points. I guess I need to reduce the light, but I mean, that's okay. So check this. 3, 2, and we're almost finishing, okay? So if you check, it wasn't that complicated. In the next episode, I hope we can work with the sprites. And don't forget to like this video, please help me with that, and subscribe to my channel, and please share this with someone who's learning App Inventor. Well, everything was okay for the last score, 5 points. But now if you check the high score, it wasn't updated. Why? Because here I store the value, but I didn't refresh the label. So let's do it in here, and let's do the procedure here. Do it, and let's see if this is just updating the value. Yes, but now we need to add some text. Okay, so we need to join. So we're going to join, and as we did before, we're going to use something like this one. Okay, so we're going to use another slot for the text, and then we're going to add some text in here. High score space, okay, and then we add another one for points, space, points. Now if we refresh this, we just check it, and then we have this beautiful ad, and we have high score 5 points. Now let's see what happens if we now play again. Let's see if we can play again. Yes, we have the lives, reset the score. Now I will just try to make less points. So in this case, we know that the high score is 5 points. So now I have this, 2, tan, 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 tan. I am almost dead. I just have 3 points. Four points. 4 points. Why 4 points? Well, I need to check that. Well, it is not doing this thing because I haven't refreshed this thing. Okay, but well, anyway, so well, we have the last score, it's okay. The high score, it is okay, but it's not updated. Why? Because we need to update in here. Okay, so we need just duplicate this one, and we just remove this one. Sorry for that, my mistake. And again, we just do the same, duplicate, you just do it in here. Now there is something strange, right? You notice that? So that it was like giving me points for just for touching the edge. So we're going to check that. We're going to move this friend in here. We have 1 point. Let me see what happens when I move this. I have high score. Okay, now we can try to make more than 5 points. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have to update this high score. So we have 3, 7, 8, and we're going to check the point system, okay, because I think it's missing something. But well, right now let's check just the high score, and that's it. We have 8 points, okay, so, and that's the idea. Now let's just check the points. Collision, collide, procedure, score procedure, score procedure, score procedure. Here, global my life, it's just like this. Edge reach, it's -1 my life, and then it's calling the score procedure. Okay, coin collide with Mario sprite. score procedure, and the score procedure is this. I guess we are done for this episode. So, well, I just did some adjustments, okay, to fix a little things. The first thing is this: we have the score procedure inside the settings clock, remember? Well, I just move it after the condition when it's resizing everything, because if not, it's going to give you a point when you are starting the game. So just move it down below the if condition here when we are like resizing everything, okay, when we are starting the game. The second thing, I just make this: instead of setting the global life more than or bigger than 0, I just set it to 1, okay. And the final thing that we have, it is this app. Please check it. This and also the labels, I guess these are a little small. We can use the procedure, also the font, okay. So if you want, you can use it in here, just to show you the full thing, and we're going to use it in the game over thing. So we have the score, we have this text. So what if we just make it like that? We use the procedure and we use a font size aspect, and we're going to set this, and we're going to set it to font size. We have the percentage, okay, that we can use, but this is very useful if you have you are using another thing, okay. So well, let's set it to the 25% and the other one too. So we just change here last thing. That's it. So now if we start the game, we just play it. I have 1 point, 2 points, then this thing, 3, 4. We have the current score, we have the lives, 6. We have different speeds for this coin that it's falling, and we're ready for the next episode to add some sprites and some sounds to make it look more interesting, okay. So but this is just the basics thing, okay, just this is like the core of the game. 9 points, so we just have a new high score, and that's it. Just let's start with this, and while this thing is finishing, please guys, don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to my channel and to share these videos, okay. So you have the high score, 10 points, last score is 10 points, okay. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm really happy to make these tutorials, but please, okay, don't forget to like the video, help me with that thing, and don't forget to check, I have a new channel, okay. It is about gameplays, okay. I mean, it is not like very interesting for some of you, and also I am working with Roblox Studio. I am making and learning some new things, okay. But well, if you want to check it, that will help me a lot. My name is Eduardo. I really thank you for watching my videos, okay. I will see you next time. Also I am very happy because we are like 3,000 subscribers and something, okay. So I'm really happy for that. Well, I will see you next time. Bye bye.